Women's Shelter of Long Beach is a nonprofit organization that has been providing supportive services to victims of domestic violence and their children for the past 40 years.
We have expanded a great deal over the years and continue to expand today into areas where we are most needed. And throughout this process, our mission has remained the same:
to eliminate domestic violence through compassionate intervention, education, and personal empowerment.
Services include emergency shelter, legal advocacy, medical advocacy, one-on-one case management services, and important education where clients are taught to identify the dynamics of abuse and important life skills, parenting skills, and self-esteem skills.
We offer our 24-hour crisis hotline. It's available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. We also have our storefront domestic violence resource center where people can just come by when they need help. And we also have a comprehensive youth program, and we go out into the community to educate and make presentations.
Each year, Women's Shelter reaches about 3,500 individuals through our outreach efforts.
Having a community with healthy and happy members benefits everyone, obviously, but also the financial costs of domestic violence are staggering to the community. This includes the cost of medical care, law enforcement, court time, time off work, work productivity.
Reports indicate that 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men experience some form of physical violence by an intimate partner at some point during their lifetime.
In September of 2012, I was in a really abusive situation.
There weren't that many happy days. For me, there weren't that many memories. It just kind of felt like every day I'd wake up with like a giant cloud over my head.
Here in the state of California, domestic violence is occurring in about 500,000 households per year. Nearly 1 million children are exposed to domestic violence on a daily basis.
I had grown up in the same environment, so it was kind of my normal. But when I started to see what it was doing to her, she kind of screamed to the little girl that was inside of me. And the only thing that I wanted to do was get us safe and not have her repeat what I had already repeated. At the same time that we were leaving the situation, I was also getting sober. So, just to suddenly be clear in the mind and actually see that, you know what, you have to make this choice. For me, it was literally just calling a hotline and talking to somebody until I got the strength to walk out that door. It's like, look, I've got everything packed, but I'm scared. And they're just like, just keep walking and don't look back. And I remember once we got to the first shelter, just breaking down and crying, because it's like you have to hold yourself so tightly together to make that move.
From the moment that the client and the family enters the shelter, they're matched with a case manager who works with them each and every day until they exit shelter. Each client is provided with their own bedroom. It's a house. I think that many people imagine emergency shelter as a hallway filled with twin beds, but it's more than that. The common areas are shared. Clients are able to interact with other families at the shelter and build bonds and share stories and experiences.
There are more women out there that are being abused that are afraid to go anywhere because there's no place for them to go.
Recently, there was a report that you were unable to meet over 6,000 requests for shelter on one single day. That demonstrates the enormous need for more victim services and emergency shelter.
Early on, it's really hard to build trust back with Serena. And we've worked at it a lot. There's been a lot of therapy. There's been a lot of crying. There's just been a lot of honest, open conversation. So today it's like, there's not much that I don't tell her. That's been a really big key to our success, as mom and daughter. We were able to communicate. Haven't met a therapist I don't like. Even if we can't work it out between ourselves, Edie speaks Serena's language. Sometimes she speaks Serena's language better than I do, and it's like, it's a phone call.
Serena was someone who I don't think she had a safe place anywhere to discuss what she was going through. When she came in group, I saw her having difficulty trusting the other kids. So if Serena came in and saying, well, I'm bored, it would be really fun to say, well, Serena, what does bored look like? Can you show me that with your body? And then she'd look at me and be like, ugh. It was like, yeah, let's all do our bored gestures, and everybody would make their bored gestures, and like that she was back in the group and participating and laughing and sharing. I was able to bring her back in without shaming her and without excluding her from the group.
My mom empowered me in so many ways. She taught me how to not give up. If like something goes wrong, just find a way around it. She's the reason that I'm happy.
Thanks, kid.
Women's Shelter is here for anybody who needs services, and that includes male victims of domestic violence and youth victims of domestic violence.
The women, men, and children that we serve could be any one of us, or they could be your neighbor, or they could be your daughter, or your son, or a parent.
When people come here, they're experiencing like sewing classes and art and dog therapy, and they're talking and making new friends, and all that information, they're taking it outside with them and building their own communities to be safer and healthier.
When all is said and done, Women's Shelter of Long Beach is about people. Those who work here, those who come to us for help, and it's our goal to empower individuals and strengthen their resolve to live a life free of violence and abuse. If somebody needs help because they're in a domestic violence situation, the best thing to do is to drop by our resource center or to call our crisis hotline, which is 562-437-HOME.